amazing viewers. Thank you so much for joining me on my program once again. I appreciate you wherever you are connecting from. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please kindly subscribe to my channel. Click the notification bell so that you'll be notified each time I upload a video. You will be among the first to receive it. Thank you so much and remain blessed. Whenever you look my video, whenever you watch my video, share the video to all platforms. Share it to family and friends. Share it in your WhatsApp group so that people can get information on what is happening in the contraption called Nigeria, mainly against the Biafrans, against the Duduas, against the indigenous people in the contraption called Nigeria. I try as much as possible to set the record straight. I don't preach hate speech. I don't speak against people. I set the record straight. The only important thing I do here is to make sure that the plight of the people remains on the front burner and the world will know the true story of what is going on in the contraption called Nigeria. Remember, they will always change the narrative. The government will always try as much as possible to use the conventional media to change the narrative, but that I will not allow. In this platform, we'll set the record straight and we'll say it the way it is. Not preaching hate speech, not by talking down to anybody, but setting the record straight and bringing the information to the front burner and letting the world know the exact situation of things. Each time you watch my video, you can equally go to the comment section, put down your comment, say it the way you feel it. It's so welcome. You can criticize if you so desire, but do it constructively so that we can be able to learn from one another. That is why I'm here. And now, I'm going to share with you a very important video. I hope after watching the video from the beginning to the end, you're going to enjoy the video and you continue to stick around and be able to enjoy the rest videos that are going to be coming your way from time to time. Thank you so much for coming. Today, the video I'm going to share with you is a very important video.
Service for his mother. Well, this has again opened another can of worms, and we'll seek to get to the bottom of it on the program tonight. And to do that with us, we're joined by a former governor of Imo State, a senator representing Imo West Senatorial District in the 9th Senate, also a founding chieftain of the All Progressives Congress. Senator Rochas Okorocha joins us on the program virtually tonight. Your Excellency, thank you for joining us on Politics Today.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Well, so much has happened within these 3 days, and I know you have quite a lot to unpack on this, but let's begin this way. The people of Imo State have been watching the recent string of events, some of them pretty anxiously. They don't know what's coming next. So perhaps as a way to help diffuse the tension first, what would you say to your people tonight to assure them and calm the nerves that may have been building at this time?
Well, what's happening in Imo State is rather unfortunate. And when I say it's unfortunate, it is really, really very, very unfortunate that Imo State has to go through what it is going through at this very crucial moment in our nation's history. And it's not just about Imo State, it's about the entire nation, and by extension, the entire humanity. What is happening in Imo State is too serious that Imo State looks like it's becoming a banana republic where there's complete lawlessness and where people live in fear and they're not sure of what happens the next day. There's no day that passes without somebody being killed and people being harassed. And it seems everybody's living in fear. Nobody can speak out. It appears to most people unfortunate as if though the happiness in Imo State has some kind of backings from Abuja. And that's what I could figure out. And there seemed to be enmity between the people here and the presumed federal government of Nigeria, just because of communication gap. But thank God this is getting to be unraveled now with the recent happenings, especially with the arrest of Ugumba Uchemusi in the church in Nkwere, local government of Imo State, which ugly scene is reported in social media and newspapers and in all television stations of something that has never happened in the history of mankind, that police officers wearing hood, masks, could walk into the church, shooting sporadically, to arrest an individual they have never invited, an individual they have not sent a text to come, and pushing down my wife and my daughter, tearing their dresses and whisking, abducting the gentleman and beating him up and tearing him up. And it's a very ugly situation, ugly story. And the story of what happened to Uche was still a horror to behold. And this is what is taking different dimensions. And first dimension is the issue of the church, which is left for the church actually to talk about. The discretion of church is a huge, major spiritual issue. So I think the church will be left to handle that. But my concern is not just about the church, discretion of the church. That is a very spiritual, strong spiritual matter, which could cause major mayhem, if you like. Because if this has happened in other parts of this country, I'm sure by now the nation would have been at a total mess because of this single act. But that is not even the issue. I think the church will address that. But my concern, there's something that has to be unraveled. And I'm sure you must have been hearing about unknown gunmen in Imo State. This is where the story of unknown gunmen started. And most people have been wondering the mystery behind unknown gunmen. But it appears, though, to me now, that unknown gunmen has finally been unraveled with the recent happenings. And what is the unknown gunmen from what happened to Uche? Unknown gunmen now was a set of policemen from government house who, without the consent of the commissioner of police, without the consent of the inspector of police, without the consent of the DIGs and the charge, nobody on their own, from the instruction of the government of the Imo State led by Hope Uzodimma and the CSO, Shaba, that gives directives to go and arrest people at will and lock them up at will, and sometimes what about these people are. So gradually something is becoming to unravel, and that is the good news about this. And to shock you, and to shock the whole world, is that this same Shaba and his governor are in the business of, getting policemen from government house to go and execute an unholy act. And when they run into trouble, they quickly say it is police. So right now, they have carefully put the image of the police and federal government of Nigeria at stake as to prove to themselves why the police should send people to go to church to arrest somebody, and which is now not IG definitely. But now, when the governor does that, when he gets into trouble, he said the police. That's the situation we find. So the unknown government now is getting to be clear. And what might surprise you is that the killing of Gonak will soon be unraveled by what has happened recently. And the 150 people that are left unaccounted for bodies at the Federal Medical Center in Owerri will also be unraveled, because till now they have done a lot of cover-up in Imo State, where nobody seems to know what is happening. People are dead. Nobody's coming to claim them. And if you claim them, they are shot, they are killed. So a lot of things are going to be unraveled. I think the mystery is because the war was taking place on that.
Right.
So asking me, what would the Imo people, how does the Imo people feel? Imo people are still in fear, and there's need to assuage their fear seriously, and it will take the intervention of the federal government of Nigeria.
Right. So we'll still try to unpack that side of the conversation, but still on the arrest and eventual release of Mr. Nwosu. Yes, he's been released. He's spoken to the press about his experience at the hands of those who took him in. But just to be clear on this matter, what are the questions yet to be answered for you, by extension your family, on this particular matter?
Well, there are a lot of questions to answer, but the first question to be asked is, why the hate? What is in the interest of the government of Imo State and Rochas Okorocha, and what concerns them? That I've not been able to. Why the hate? Why the envy? That I've not been able to answer. Another question I will ask that: why should a governor? I have been a governor for 8 years. Why should a governor assume the position of Inspector General of Police by giving directive to police officer under him to go and commit an act? I have not answered. Nobody has answered the question. Why should the governor become the chief judge of the state, or the judge, to issue arrest warrant from government house? Why should governor go to church, ask him to go to church and arrest somebody and bring the person to government house? and take him take him to Enugu and charter a private jet. Why should the government charter a private jet to take somebody as arrested or to take him to Abuja? And what is it really? And I can understand. Because if you had listened to Uche Nwosu, this phone call this evening would have been a condolence message. God forbid. But oh, sorry, such as lot of what happened to Andrew. God forbid. I reject that in Jesus' name. Because when these young men took him out and took him to Njaba Bridge, they first of all brought him out and cocked their gun to shoot him. And they were, what saved Uche Nwosu was social media. That said, oh, this has come to social media, and they became a bit scared and communicated back to Sharp, not knowing that Uche Nwosu hears Hausa very well. Then when they went to government house and the vehicle turned, they left him with only one car driving to Enugu. In Okigwe, a road to Enugu, they also spoke in Hausa, saying, can we now shoot his leg or shoot his hand? Was in the process of running, let's finish him and go. The same policeman. When they said that, they asked me in Hausa, why do you want to kill him? What have I done? The people were shocked. Do you speak Hausa? That's how they took him and put him on the face mask with face cap so nobody can disguise him and carry him like a criminal into a private jet to Abuja. But I'm sure, 100% sure that IG from my communications with him never knew of all these things. And I'm patiently waiting for what police will say on this particular matter.
Now, on that point, Your Excellency.
So what I'm saying...
You can land on that.
Come again?
Okay, let me just put in the question. I was expecting that you land on the point, but on the the timeline and the details of what exactly transpired. Pardon me. So you said we're in possession of the interview you granted on Sunday, where you said preliminary that you had spoken with the Commissioner of Police in the state, who confirmed that the order came from Abuja. That was on Sunday. And then Mr. Nwosu came out and said that he doubts that the IGP was in fact aware of what was playing out. So really, have you been able to clarify who gave that order? If you said that the commissioner said it came from Abuja, Mr. Nwosu says it looks like the IGP is not aware, then who do we believe?
Okay. Now, when in my curiosity, because at first, what we understood was the kidnapping, was an abduction, because it was an unprofessional way of arrest. Without arrest warrant, without invitation, in a church shooting. So when I had that, I called on the Commissioner of Police before. I said, Commissioner of Police. In fact, the first I called his phone more than 5 times and he wasn't going through. Eventually, when he came, his phone came on and I spoke with him. He said he's out, that it's actually the Uche is with the police. I said, oh, are you aware of it? He said he's not aware of it. He told clearly, he said he wasn't aware of that. Then he said the young men must have come from Abuja. Then I called from Abuja. And I spoke with the IG myself, and the IG also said he wasn't aware of the arrest. So at that point, I became curious as to what happened. But I think the police is still investigating this matter, and the police will be in a better position, the IG will be in a better position to say who then, or who are the people that actually conducted this arrest. But all that we have found out later from submissions and from the people that came were people from the government house, accompanied by a military vehicle that is also always in the convoy of the governor. It's a popular military vehicle that's always in the convoy of the governor. That's the one that accompanied these people. And when they took Uche, at the government round the half, these vehicles went back to the government house and left him with the black Jeep, either it is Ford or Q7, I don't know what it is, that took him straight to Enugu alone, with 4 policemen inside. And you could see while they were inside, they undressed, they removed the many torn part of his clothes, took picture of him inside the car and sent back to the government house, and they put that on social media. And so it is a complicated matter. But what I'm saying to you is that unknown gunmen have unraveled within the state by the grace of God. And I think it's because of an attack on the house of God that has revealed this. So as it stands now, it is obvious that the people are under the directive of the government of Imo State, led by Governor Hope Uzodimma, who has led these people. And how do I have this? I have had a similar experience. The same Shaba was the person who shot my son-in-law during that my arrest. And the boy's legs got scattered. It was the US for 4 months. The same Shaba, I saw him. And in my own case, during that time also, a young Hausa boy from the government house who came and met me towards the evening, spoke to me in the house. I said, Rankede, Maza Capital Kashiga Mota. Makashiga Mota Baza Kasheka. And he put back his hood or the mass after speaking to me, meaning, sir, Your Excellency, quickly move out of this place. They will kill you. So it is obvious that the squad of policemen in government house is used for killing purposes, for committing an unholy act. So the unknown gunmen in Imo State is gradually coming out. Because most of the time, IPOB will say they're not the one. And look at the way people are being killed. Look at the traditional blacks being killed. Look at 104 people being killed that are in this thing. Every day there's killing. Every day people are beheaded. And to tell you that even the recent discovery of a camp in Osu, from the camp to governor's house is not more than 2 kilometers. And as chief security officer, he doesn't know what's happening in that place. He left a lot to be desired. So Imo might be gradually, an act of God might gradually set Imo State from what is happening. But it's a well detailed investigation. And I pray that for the first time in this whole exercise happening, that the federal government of Nigeria, the police IG, will make out time to tell the world the truth. And I have promised myself we're not going to stop on this move until it is unraveled in Imo State.
So speaking of investigation, Senator, you can land at that point, so I can quickly put in a couple of questions really to be answered, but if you could just make that point in 10 seconds, so I can put in my question.
No, the point I'm making is that the governor also, ironically, has announced since last week that he's going to let the world know the people behind the IPOB or no government in Imo State. And he gave the date of 3rd. So the world must wait and hear this governor make a broadcast. Since he assumed the responsibility of the IG to announce to the people who are this unknown government. So the truth is gradually coming out. Because from there we'll know who killed Gulag. Gulag's story will come out.
Okay, so let's talk about the investigation.
It will come out.
So if we could talk about that investigation, because in the interview that Mr. Nwosu granted, he referenced that he was told that a petition was written against him, and he was said alleged to have been selling guns to militants. And I just want to ask you, to what extent can you vouch for Mr. Nwosu in this matter?
It's a question of Mr. Nwosu is as innocent as anybody can think of, or you can imagine. But let me tell you even the truth. Mr. Nwosu never slept in the police station. When the private jet took him to Abuja, it was an embarrassment to the entire police. Because nobody sent those little boys. On their own, they acted as IG, because the governor, Hope Uzodimma, who is now the Inspector General of Police, gave every instruction, directed everything. And so, what investigation is going on? Uche Nwosu was asked to come back the following day after making statement. But the only thing, these people, they think they're smart. They try to portray some videos. They brought out a video of what happened last 2 months or last month about some criminals they caught, either somewhere in Delta. And they interviewed those young men. And the young men confessed, I think everybody was the killing of a policeman and how they get their arms and what they do, how they get, where they keep the AK-47. Only 1 month after, the same Shabba went and dressed this young man up, cleaned him up, wore him a nice white dress. His hair has grown, and kept him now to say, oh, you must say Uche Nwosu. It's so laughable. Uche Nwosu bought arms for you. I'm sure those boys should be made to speak publicly by the Inspector General of Police or by the police commissioner to tell the world who actually told them to do this and how that happened. When this question is answered, the true story of the unknown government in Imo State will come out, and we'll now know who is the real murderer, who is the real killer of these innocent people. So investigation-wise, it's left for the Inspector General of Police, who I believe has taken over the matter, which Nwosu have been re-invited to the police again to come and make some statement or identification, I don't know. But for vouching for Uche Nwosu, since I've known Uche Nwosu is a gentleman of an impeccable character. Uche Nwosu cannot hurt an ant. Uche Nwosu cannot hurt an ant. And he has endured more than anyone can endure. And he has no pains at all. He has no worries at all. Remember that Uche Nwosu won the election, if you remember. Uche Nwosu won that election. Hope Uzodimma never won that election. Hope Uzodimma came number 4. But for some kind of legal arithmetic, he became a governor who is not the governor of the people. but governor of judicial pronouncement.
Well,
And
you know,
so
as
he's
you
never
said
elected
earlier,
people.
Your Excellency, you remember you said earlier that something is in the realm of the church. Now, this one is in the realm of the courts. But still regarding Mr. Nwosu, to what extent, when I asked you to what extent can you vouch for him, let me just take this further by asking, are you willing to put yourself on the line to defend his innocence, which you are reiterating time and again?
I say, what line is a small word? Can I put myself on the road? On the air? That is down. I can do this. Who can do this to me? Lord is down.
Okay. Well, Your Excellency, can you hear me?
It's okay. I can hear you. I think it's okay now. So
okay, I think we lost you for a moment. Please go ahead.
I say I can vouch for Uche Nwosu with everything in my life. I can vouch for him, even in my sleep. That gentleman cannot even think of evil, let alone try to execute it. But look, let me tell you, my friend, just wait for the next couple of days or week, the truth will come out. Because, you know, having gone to church, I released those shots, shooting God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, and coming outside and shooting the angels with barrage of gunshots, I'm sure the truth will come. God will speak. God in heaven will speak for him for the first time. And my innocence and the innocence of Uche Nwosu will be declared soon. And the world will know of the truth. Who is the murderer? Who is the killer? Because listen, my friend, listen to me clearly. I was a governor in Imo State for 8 years. And this state was as peaceful as you can think. What went wrong? Where did these people come from? Who actually brought them to what? So let me tell you, when the wicked or the criminal is in power, people more. That's what's happening in Imo State. So ask him whether I can vouch for Uche Nwosu. I can vouch for Uche Nwosu 1 billion times that he cannot. And I'll sign my signature for it. That's my trust for that young man. Right. And that's the same thing I saw in him. That was what I said I saw in him. That when he became the popular choice of Imo people for governorship, I stood by him. I said I stand by him. And they denied him a ticket that he won. And today, that denial and bringing a wrong person who never won an election has led the state into turmoil.
So you referenced when you were governor, and you have alleged that you think that this order actually came from the government house, from the governor of Imo State. And this will be an order, as it were, to the police. And time and again, we've heard governors say they can't even give orders to police. So is this something that can happen? The governor giving orders to the police to carry out? Is that something you did during your time, such that you know it can be replicated now?
There's what is called abuse of power. This is why abuse of power, absolute abuse of power is what's happening in Imo State. Those police is only to protect the governor and nothing else, and cannot be used to discharge any other function of the police by law. And secondly, the fact that still don't know what the governor tells the presidency and those he has as agents in federal government that makes them release army to him, Air Force to him, Navy to him. This is the only governor in Nigeria who carries army, Air Force, Navy in his convoy, who lives in armored personnel car, who lives in billion van all the days of this administration and doesn't even come out. This governor cannot come out to the street and walk around the street. I assure you cannot move out. So I don't know, but I think within my conviction that this governor goes ahead to tell president, the presidency, who are open, who have such open mind of listening to every gossip, and tell them, listen to me, let me tell you, the whole Igbos are against President Muhammad Buhari. The whole Igbos are against the Northerners. I'm the only good man. So listen, I will fight them on your behalf. So he set enmity between Igbo people and Abuja and federal government of Nigeria. And they believe him. But the question they asked, when I formed APC and I became the governor, where were not such enmity between Igbos or Imo people and the Federal Republic of Nigeria? It's a creation of the governor of Imo State. It's his creation. And that's why he gets the military cheap. He gave the Navy cheap. Whenever he said, come to Olu and bomb, they give him fighter jets, come and bomb everywhere. The guy is too... I warn people, even in this, whatever we do in future, let's check the track record of anybody we are bringing to authority before we mess up this country and mess up the state. People should have asked, who was Hope Uzodimma before becoming governor? We know him in Imo State. You don't know him. Every Imolite knows this man. When Hope used to be a driver to Ibekwe, Ibekwe was one who died in EFCC custody under investigation of fraud. He was his driver. What happened? Nobody asked questions. What happened with Hope Uzodimma in the Kaduna, the Calabar dredging project? That file is being hidden. What happened to Hope Uzodimma in NPI Health? What happened? So many stories in customs. These are facts. But yet people say it doesn't matter because we're playing politics. Now, everybody, you cannot change a man's character because he's occupying a political office. If a man is a kind man, if he becomes a governor, you'll be executive kind man. If he's a criminal and becomes a governor, you become executive criminal. So these are some of things we don't check. Parameters of antecedent, track record. This is what is the issue. So right now, we are going to discover it's no longer about Uchenwoso or Rochas Okorocha. It's now between police and Hope. Either police accept responsibility that they send people to church, or Hope accept responsibility that he sent the people to church, or either Hope accept responsibility that he's the one who sent people to go and arrest Uche, or IG accept responsibility that he's the one who sent police. They can't divorce in between. Between Hope Uzodimma and the Nigerian police, one must tell us what went wrong and cannot be swept under the carpet. Just like the bodies of unclaimed bodies at Federal Medical Center, which Archbishop Obinna, a respected Archbishop of Catholic Church, came to the place, inspected, and cried out the word and said there are a lot of bodies unclaimed. What is happening? Masculine.
Well, Your Excellency,
today is covered.
We're due for a break now, but this is like deja vu of some sort because you went through a similar experience earlier in the year. But we need to go to break, and when we return, we'll explore your experience, what came out of it.
Thank you so much for your patience to watch from the beginning to the end. I hope you have learned something from the video you have just watched. The video you have just watched is to bring information to your doorstep and for educational purpose. It is not to demonize anybody. Let us watch continuously and see who can be able to make a sense out of every nonsense we are seeing. We must continue. We move. It doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter what they say. They will kill us. We will kill them. At the end of the day, Biafra is here. Thank you for watching. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please kindly subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell so that you're notified each time I upload a video. You will be among the first to receive it. Thank you and remain blessed. Bye-bye. See you again.